Mambo, mko safi? Karibuni. So 1 minute. Are we ready? Sawa, asanteni sana. Habari za usubuhi. Leo hii tumetembelewa na mgeni ambaye ni mwenyekiti wa jopo la magavana kitaifa. So majukumu yetu, mimi na mwenyekiti mwenza kitio, ni kumkaribisha ili aseme machache, and then thereafter tutazungumza nasi na tuweze kuchangia pale aliposema. Lakini kabla nimkaribishe mwenyekiti, ningechukua fursa hii kumkaribisha mwenyekiti mwenza wangu aseme machache kwa niaba ya serikali ya kitaifa. County Commissioner.
Naam, asante sana. Kwanza ni kumkaribisha sana Mheshimiwa Wambora, karibu sana Mombasa. Na ya pili, tunashukuru ile kazi mnafanya na wenzako kama Council of Governors kuhakikisha kwamba hii vita dhidi ya corona inapiganwa kwa njia ambayo ni ya ufasaha katika Kenya hii. Mimi sitasema mengi sana. Nitasema tu kwa ufupi kuhusu cases yetu hapa Mombasa na mahali kufikia wakati huu. Hapa sisi Mombasa tumekuwa na cases 11,330 ambazo wale wanaume ni 7,682 na kina dada ni 3,648, na watu ambao wameweza kufariki hapo Mombasa ni 215 tangu hili janga la corona ifike. Na kwa masaa 24 iliyopita tumekuwa na cases 27 ambazo zimeripotiwa katika kaunti yetu ya Mombasa. Na ningependa pia kuongeza kwamba wale watu ambao wamepata chanjo hapa ni watu 27,055. Na pia kuna juhudi nyingi ambazo tumeweka kama County COVID Preparedness Committee ambayo inatusaidia kupigana na hili janga. Tuna implement zile national guidelines na pia kuna zingine ambayo tumezilocalize ambayo inatusaidia sana. Kwa hivyo kwa ufupi ni kusema sisi hapa kama county zingine pia tumejitolea kuhakikisha kwamba tunapigana na hii janga la COVID-19. Naomba tu wakaaji wetu wa Mombasa na wengine tuendelee kuimarisha vita dhidi ya hii COVID-19. Na tutafaulu, tukifanya pamoja tutafaulu. Haya tu ndio ndasema. Asante.
Asante. So kuongezea tu vile mwenyekiti mwenza amenena hapa ni kwamba sisi tuna uwezo wa kufanya majambo fulani, lakini katika mafanikio ya vita dhidi ya janga la corona ni kutenda mambo kijumla. Yani sisi na wewe na mtu yoyote pale alipo una majukumu ya kutenda mambo kijumla. Ndio maana sisi tunasema kando ya juhudi ambayo inafanywa ya kiserikali, juhudi kubwa zaidi iko mikononi mwa mwananchi. Na tumejifunza kwamba hapa Mombasa watu wetu wamebeba hayo majukumu siku hizi. Na tunashukuru Mungu kuona kwamba nambari zinaanza kushuka chini, na kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu tutafanikiwa dhidi ya vita vya corona. Kwa sababu watu sasa wamejitolea kibinafsi kubeba hayo majukumu. Na mimi ni ombi langu kwa kila mtu kwamba kuna yale ambayo viongozi wanafanya, serikali wanafanya, lakini yale ya muhimu zaidi ni yale ambaye sisi wenyewe kama binadamu ama wananchi tunaweza kufanya. Jambo lingine ambalo ni muhimu ningependa niseme kabla nimkaribishe mwenyekiti ni kwamba tumeona mienendo ambaye ilibidi ifanyike kwa sababu ya kupigana na COVID. Kwa mfano, kuosha mikono, kuvaa barakoa na mambo mengine, na kuongeza nguvu katika jinsi ya usafi imetusaidia pakubwa hata kupigana na maradhi mengine. Zamani ikifika msimu huu tulikuwa na shida nyingi za maradhi mengine kando ya corona, lakini ukiangalia katika utafiti ulioko sasa, nambari za yale maradhi mengine pia yameshuka kiasi kikubwa. So probably inaweza kuwa hii ndio inaitwanga our new norm. Tujitayarishe, it may be our new norm. So mimi sitaki kusema sana kwa sababu leo, na nashukuru watu wa Kenya waone kwamba county governments zimebeba majukumu ya kupigana na magonjwa aina mingi, hususan corona, lakini muhimu kuleta huduma ya afya karibu kwa mwananchi. So chairman, karibu sana Mombasa, na niseme kwa niaba ya watu wa Mombasa tumeshukuru kwamba umeamua brief hii yako safari hii itakuwa Mombasa. Hii iko encouraging na tunataka utembee kaunti zote 47. Karibu chairman.
Asante sana mwenzangu, ndugu yangu HE Governor Ali Hassan Joho, County 001. It's my pleasure to be here. Nikubalie tu niongee Kizungu kwa sababu Kiswahili ya Mombasa ni ngumu kidogo kwetu watu wa bara.
Hakuna wasiwasi. Ndio maana sisi tukaanza Kiswahili tukuachie Kizungu wewe leo.
Basi, thank you. Kwanza, before I read the speech, may I take the opportunity, my brother Governor, for hosting us today and also hosting us many other times. Any assistance I need from you, I've always given me. You are the first governor who was the first to support me on 29th of January to be the chairman of the Council of Governors. Shukran sana.
Asante.
Na ikapita bila opposition. Asante. Ya pili, I want to thank you. As I told you when we are in your office, your inspectorate, it's one of the best in the country. There's no doubt.
Thank you.
It's one of the best. We have witnessed their efficiency and their wonderful behavior. When we get stranded, you always send them to host, to get us from the hotel and rush us to the airport and vice versa. That one is excellent, and it's because of that when I wanted to form my inspectorate in Embu County, it was your officers I asked to come and be the instructors. Shukran sana.
Asante.
Kwa hiyo. Mombasa is my favorite destination in this country. And I can assure you, when my officers in office of the president asked me, when I told them I want to go to the field, they asked me, where do you want to go? I said, I want to be DO Mombasa. And I was posted here. I was here for 2.5 years before I was asked to go to Mpeketoni, Ukolamu. So the two counties of Pwani were my starting point in my career in the civil service. Having said that, may I now go ahead and read the speech of the Council of Governors. Fellow Kenyans, members of the press, in the last 2 weeks, we have witnessed the number of COVID-19 positive cases fluctuate, fortunately. The current positivity rate stands at 7.5% from a sample size of 6,244 individuals tested. This seems to be much lower than what has been reported in the previous weeks. And if that trend continues, COVID-19 curve will surely flatten. However, the good news should not make us lower our guard. Hence, we must remain vigilant by continuing to observe the Ministry of Health protocols. Now, what has happened in the capacity of beds? An analysis of COVID-19 trends in 13 counties further indicate that the counties are winning the war on COVID pandemic. This is the first time I'm saying this since I started. More beds continue to be available as follows. Isolation beds. In the last 1 week, isolation beds have increased by 171 from 7,792 to 7,963, following more COVID-19 patient recoveries. The same trend has happened with ICU beds and HDU beds as follows. An increase of that one bed from 342 to 373. This has been contributed by the decrease of number of ICU admissions. In case of HDU, in the last 1 week, the number of HDU beds has increased by 15 from 151 to 166, another marked decrease in number of admissions in HDU. Home-based care patients. This is another area where the number of patients is going down. Last week, we reported that there were 2,606 patients under home-based care across 29 counties. This week, this number has reduced to 2,159, a result of an increase in patient recovery at home. We urge asymptomatic patients to continue working with the community health frontiers in the implementation of the home-based guidelines, which have been effective that far. Let's now look at the situation of the COVID-19 vaccination. Cumulatively, the 47 counties have achieved a total of 933,826 doses which have been administered. And this is the way it has been distributed. Above 58 were the biggest beneficiaries, 284,681. Others, 261,700. Healthcare workers, 162,475. Teachers, 146,830. Security, 79,376. We note that the demand for the COVID vaccine has increased over the week, with more uptake by individuals above the age of 58 and by health workers. We encourage counties to ensure utilization of the remaining vaccines by the end of this month as we wait for the phase 2 vaccination rollout. Now, we have faced a few non-COVID challenges around the counties. May I at this juncture draw your attention to non-COVID-19 challenges, some of which some of our counties are experiencing. One of them, of course, is management of drought. The following counties have experienced drought, severe drought: Masape, Turkana, Wajir, and Mandera. The good news is that the respective governments have acquired and distributed 230,000 bags of food items to the affected households. Additionally, they have carried out water tracking in 435 sites, targeting 790,000 households of the affected population. We urge the Ministry of Devolution and ASA, as well as development partners, to support counties to ensure provision of timely humanitarian assistance and the required drought response action in order to save lives and livelihood. The other challenge is the floods. Sections of population continue to suffer from the great havoc caused by the ongoing floods. Heavy rains witnessed in some counties such as Tana River, Nairobi, Machakos, Kisumu, Kiambu, Busia, Migori, Kajiado, and Siaya has led to displacement of people from their homes and disruption of livelihood. In informal settlements such as Kipra, people have been rendered homeless, and such populations remain vulnerable to disease outbreak owing to poor drainage and poor sanitation. We appeal to well-wishers to provide direct support to the affected counties. 8. Challenges being faced by ECD and vocational training centers. The ECD and vocational training centers are facing the following challenges: lack of age-appropriate face masks, because these are small kids; inadequate face masks for teachers and support staff; inadequate hand-washing stations in ECD and VTCs; insufficient disinfectants to ensure frequent and consistent fumigation of common areas. We call upon the Minister of Education, in liaison with the Minister of Health and Development partners, to provide adequate PPEs and sanitation materials to enhance the safety of learners and teachers in ECDs and vocational training centers. Challenge number 4, disbursement of county equitable share of revenue. So we should not be blaming the governors when there is a shortage in the hospitals. The National Treasury has so far dispatched a total of 8.8 billion to county government during the last week. This last week. Current outstanding amount owed to county government is 82 billion. And yet we have only 1 month to go. 3.9 billion is owed to Nairobi City County. 25 million in March owed to all the 47 counties. Another 28 billion owed to 47 counties for the month of April. For May, the amount is 25 billion. It is 1 month to the end of the financial year, and the county governments are yet to receive their full disbursement of the equitable share. This has continued to derail the response measures towards the pandemic, drought, and floods in various parts of the country, and service delivery to Kenyans. We therefore call upon the National Treasury to fast-track the release of funds to counties. In conclusion, as I conclude, my host governor, as I mentioned to you before we came down from your office, the Council of Governors would like to express its discontentment in the manner in which the Senate has carried out the impeachment of Wajir Governor, His Excellency Ambassador Mohammed Abdi Mahmoud. The Council strongly fought the whole process following on the following grounds. One, violation of the court orders that barred both the County Assembly and the Senate from debating the impeachment motion. Number two, deliberate failure by the Senate Committee to consider the governor's exonerating evidence on health as captured by the Nation Survey report on health published in May 2019, which was very commendable for Wajir. Three, the Senate lowering the standard of proof and the threshold of impeachment matters, and thus exposing the counties to political upheavals. Four, failure to follow the provisions of assumptions of office of a Governor Act, resulting into a hurried swearing of the deputy governor. Senate failing to have set standards of what amounts to gross violation of the Constitution. For example, in the Kirinyaga case, the Senate acquitted the governor who had been charged of a similar violation. So inconsistency. On the face of it, the impeachment process appears to be political witch hunt. A vice that should not be allowed to disrupt governance. In this regard, we shall be holding a full council meeting of governors on Friday, 21st May 2021, to deliberate on this matter and issue a comprehensive statement on the same. Asanteni sana and asante kabisa. I think we can take questions from our governor, our host governor, or even the commissioner can contribute, and also myself.
Microphone for him.
Well, thank you so much, Minister, for the time today. A couple of weeks ago, the Council of Governors made a meeting concerning the new variant of the pandemic, and of course, we understand that the U.S. has willing to donate more doses of vaccine to Africa and other nations as well. What are the counties doing to ensure that these both issues are addressed at today?
I don't know whether Governor Joho would want to what?
Well, you see, the point is how prepared are we? Even in terms of administering the vaccines, it is one thing on getting vaccines donated to us and another thing in administering. So, for example, here in Mombasa, we have received around 30,000 vaccines so far. We have already vaccinated over 27,000 citizens of Mombasa County. And we prioritized, obviously, by age. And now there's also a focus on what we categorized as frontliners. For example, we have listed the tourism fraternity or hoteliers are frontliners, because we are a service economy and we need the tourism industry to thrive. And therefore, I am sure counties are prepared when given the opportunity to administer vaccines. The other important point is on the sensitization, the soft approach. Every county, I'm sure, has a different tact on how they do it. But for example, here we are using community health volunteers, we're using the politicians and everybody else to engage the public, so that when the time comes and we have adequate vaccines, we're ready to administer. In terms of variants, it is a challenge. I mean, it's going to be revolving over the period. But you know, the point is how ready are we to respond? And I can tell you on behalf of Mombasa, myself and my co-chair, Kitio, we meet frequently to discuss our preparedness. We have had, right now we are closing down our isolation centers. Remember when there was a spike, we reopened, and now we are scaling them down, but equipment is kept in our stores. When we need to quickly reopen, we are ready. So my brother, I can assure you that the counties have done a lot and continue to do a lot. We are ready as we can be. So when the vaccines come, we urge the donors to help us expedite the processes so it comes as fast as it can, and we administer it. We are ready.
I have a set of questions, and I'll begin where you left in terms of impeachment and governance security. You are doing something you have survived twice. What are some of the proposals?
A man with none lives.
Yes. Some of the proposals we put forward in terms of having a solution, but then leaving the law at its course. And two, since the issue of Catholic governance, your input in terms of what happened yesterday, specifically in Judah, in terms of the election. We as a chair of COG, very confident in the last time we have said. Last time you mentioned that you are doing contact tracing for the Indian variant. How far is that process and how successful has been? And lastly, in terms of what the government issued yesterday, the travel saying that by July, they are having the second dose. Given the situation that is in India, saying that export of this vaccine will be difficult. What comes, what is the situation of the government and the security in terms of if it doesn't happen? So, given that what is happening in India seems to be very there.
Very good. I think I'll start with the issues of COVID before we deal with the politics. The Indian variant, the contact tracing, the joint effort of the national government and the counties like Mombasa and Kisumu, where it has been traced, have worked very, very well indeed, including Nairobi also, where all the contacts have been tracked down and they are already in isolation. So that one has been handled exceptionally well. As for the COVID vaccination, already the minister has made a deal with Johnson & Johnson, and I think that is a deal which will go through for that million doses which can be dispatched in batches. So that is what we shall follow through with the minister, so that at least our people can have the second dose. Absolutely. As for the governor, or the experience I have, I'll use that experience on Friday, and we shall be able to address the press thereafter. Utasikia tu. Absolutely.
Macha amaliza yule.
Maybe what happened in Juja, I think that was normal. What happened in Juja is normal. Democracy is welcome, honestly. Absolutely. Me have no complaints.
I had it presenting other government arms over this issue of Wajir government. But we left the judiciary because the judiciary the one that
they will be covered in our address on Friday because we need expert guidance. For sure, judiciary rushed in swearing in. That was a big mistake, there's no doubt. It should take a minimum of 8 to 10 days before a governor is sworn in after the notice is given. We have the rules, we know the rules, and we shall quote them.
I think the important point that we all must agree is the kind of threshold that must be set.
Correct.
In the processes of impeachment. Remember, governors are elected to office by the citizens. Remember. And this contract is valid for 5 years.
Absolutely.
That is, can be renewed depending on the performance. So sometimes we wonder, and it is allowed. It is in line with our constitution. It is provided for by the law. But the point is we must be careful with the kind of threshold that has been set. So that even 100 years from today, when someone asks a question as to why Wembora or me or whoever has been impeached, it should be able to stand the test of time.
Absolutely.
And it should never be linked to politics or political affiliations, because that can shift, and it does shift from time to time. So for me, that's my point. We really need to consider what threshold, what standards are put in place to impeach a duly elected representative of people from office. Yes, Maisha.
Okay, I have to speak as governor, but it has been a Swahili. So when I put the given picture, it was enough is vaccine ya corona moto bakari kwa mtoto. Kwa sababu tunashiriki partner kusta. And then zile hapa tunasema kwamba July tutakuwa na ongezeko na bado kwa na ongezeko la maambukizi ya corona. Kwa hiyo tunataka kwa kwa Mombasa. What are you doing to control this situation? And then the third one, kama naibu kinara wa chama cha Condemn, connect ya
Mambo ya BBI. Tuanze na hiyo vaccine. Tuanze na vaccine. First of all, I have said it here, sisi tumekuwa na vaccine 3,000. 30,000. 30,000. Tushapeana 27,000 takriban. Tumebaki na 3,000. I don't know who gives anybody an idea that it will expire before they are given. We are only been critical on who it is given to, so that it serves the purpose. Like, for example, we decided the other day kubadilisha mienendo juzi kwamba tutawapatia wafanyikazi wa mahoteli kama watu ambayo wameingia katika kategori ya frontliners, kwa sababu uchumi wetu mkubwa hapa Mombasa unategemea mambo ya utalii, na watu wa hoteli wanaingiana na watu kwa kila aina kila mara. Ndio tukapeana sasa watu takriban 2,500 hivi ambaye ni wafanyikazi wa mahoteli. So umeniuliza swali la kuwa tayari kwa COVID. Mombasa has always been ready. Tuko tayari. We are very well equipped. You know? Ukiambia it's a switch on. For us it's just plug. Una plug tu. You know? Ukisema tu, like for example, today tulikuwa tunaongea mambo ya isolation center. We had set up Chuda for isolation center. But tunaangalia nambari, what do we do? Unplug COVID hospital, plug in maternity hospital. Kwa sababu life has to continue. When the numbers demand to relook and to rethink, my friend, we will plug it very, very quickly and you'll be surprised. And here, hapa, Mombasa, we have even built further isolation centers. We have a new one in Mtongwe. We have a new one in Marimani. We have Mvita. All that prepare for COVID. So we are ready to respond at any given time. Tunaomba Mungu tu to avoid hiyo safari. The other thing you asked me about BBI. What do you want to know about BBI, my friend? But you know me, I'm deep in BBI. I'm very deep, and I will not shy away from saying my feelings. Siwezi kuwa na haya ya kuzungumza mawazo yangu. Mimi nina mienendo yangu ambaye naangalia nataka hii nchi pale iende. Mimi naangalia kwa upeo mpana. Kunaweza kuwa na habari nyingi, watu wanasema mambo mingi tu. Kila mtu ana haki ya kidemokrasia kusema yale anayotaka. Lakini kuna mambo mingi ambayo watu wengine hawayasemi na hawayaone, wanaipatia jicho pofu. Lakini ukitizama kwa kina, tathmini kwa sasa, mimi tell me hapa Mombasa BBI imepropose nipate constituency 3 mpya. Kwa mfano, BBI inanipatia mimi ambaye hata I'm outgoing governor, lakini I'm moving kutoka pesa za bilioni 6 to bilioni 12. I know what 12 billion can do for Mombasa. Tumengangana na hizi bilioni kidogo. Najua hizo bilioni nyingine zitakazokuja itaweza kufanyia Mombasa namna gani. Now let me tell you something, watu hawaambiagi. Kimaendeleo hata kiserikali ya kitaifa, the focal point of development is the constituencies. Ukikaa Nairobi kule wakipanga, wanaangalia, even budgeting in the national government is constituency based. Barabara hii constituency fulani. You know? Watu wanaangalia tu ile ambaye iko karibu. Unazungumza mambo mengi, wakilishi wengi. Lakini mimi I'm looking at a situation hapa Mombasa with 3 new constituencies. I am getting 390 million more for the people of Mombasa
every year.
And then, you know what? Every constituency gives about 35 million shillings annually for bursary. What I am seeing is another big number of our young people, our children, who will be now enabled to go to school because there are more constituencies, more resources. I even know for a fact the way they allocate money for roads, barabara, pia ni kwa constituency. Sasa mimi hapa governor wa Mombasa, napata constituencies zingine 3. It means 390 million more every year. It means more funding for roads, more funding for all other government functionaries. How am I going to oppose it? There may be stumbling blocks. Yes, it's normal.
Will be overcome.
It's normal. But we will defend what we think it is right for us. And therefore, for me, bado mimi, I have hope, very high hopes, that BBI shall come through. Tutazungumza. Some people may think it's an unpopular position, but that's how politics is. Na wakati ukifika, mtatuona tukivaa mabuti, na tunayajua vile tunayavaa sisi kawaida. Tutakutana kule mashinani tu. Any other question?
Thank you very much.
Asanteni.
Thank you.